All right, everyone. This is in anticipation of some descriptive analysis that we will be doing for both week 3 and week 4. On week 3, which you should have kind of worked on yourself, worked by yourself, you should have seen some content and also some lab. So the lab has a bunch of different things. One of them is some cheat sheets, some plotting techniques, some data sets, TSV and microdata, and also your PDF format of what requires to be done during the lab. So kindly take a look at it. It tells you a bunch of different things, resource and so forth, or you can just follow along here. The notebook rather is here. Just click on that and it will take a little bit of time to load up. But essentially the objective of this lab is to do descriptive analysis. And what we mean by descriptive analysis is the comments here. You're trying to find the mean, median, identify ranges, minimum, maximum values, see how data is dispersed, trying to find some IQR or interquartile range, histogram, visualizing, and so forth. So the whole point of descriptive analysis is to understand how data looks from a visual perspective. So very quickly, pandas and matplotlib, these are standard libraries. You might as well just install it or initiate it always, so you can hit run. And don't worry about the red one. This is because of the Grammarly thing here. But if it yielded no error, you know that it's working. So that now that it's been run, we will be doing is something called uh, importing the value. So there's a file format called TSV, tab separated values. So it's think about a notepad where a tab is separating different columns. So we are doing here is import read underscore CSV. Name of the file is gapminder. If you notice it, it's with your package. And the delimiter is this one, which is indicative of the tab. So if you hit next, and one thing I want to do is here maybe clean up the kernel so that there's no issues when we start. So let's clean the kernel. Again, run this again here. And run this guy here again. Okay, so run this guy here again. And in terms of data check or sanity check, you can always do df.head. That tells you the data if it's here or not. So it looks like it is about some countries, there's some variables and so forth, some categorical variable, some numerical variables, some date and time, and so forth. This is allowing you to set the figure to 10 by 6 inches. Again, I can always do that. So essentially 10 by 6 is meaning that you want the figure to be certain sizes, not too big, not too small. You can change your preference as you wish. So one of the things you can do, obviously we imported DF, is we can subset the data. So we can create other sets of data. So for example, if DF is this big circle, we can just pick and filter and create another data frame. So it is very versatile type of programming, right? So what this is telling you here is create a new data frame. You can name anything. And when you do that, go to DF data frame. And when you go to DF data frame, do two criteria. One is DF continent equals Asia. So this has to be Asia. And DF year has to be 1972. So it is doing sub query and it is creating a new data frame. So if you go here and then you add a new thing here and then you do this and you do head, you should see everything that is from Asia in 1972. So, that is how you do it. So what we can do is create a histogram. This histogram, again, is your visual representation of data. And you see bin equals 30. Essentially, it is saying that split the data into 30 shapes, 30 bins, 30 equal parts. And after you do that, divide and distribute it. So it looks like most of the frequency that is happening is around, I would say 61, 62 here, right? So that is the life expectancy. you can change the bin again here to 40, see how it looks. In histogram, GDP per capita. So this one is GDP, and this one is going to be life expectancy. And where did you change that? The Y is GDP here, and then Y is life expectancy. So you can always create it as you wish. Okay. Um, so you can also sort values by, life expectancy, like, do some sort of queries, SQL-like queries. And it is going to show you in ascending order. And it is going starting from Afghanistan, which has the lowest expectancy, to Japan, that is the longest expectancy. So ascending, is the function here. You can always revert it and call it false, and it would do something else here, right? So true or false. So let's see how data looks like, and it should be like a little different. And it is also different kind of plot, right? So this one I did bar, this one I did bar H. So, feel free to look into matplotlib, this library, and see what are some of the functions that you can play around with it. There's no right or wrong, it's just a visualization that you can use. One of the awesome thing about descriptive analysis is that you're trying to find a bunch of different data. So not a data, but analysis is like DF Asia, and you do describe a function here, and you hit run, and it will give you a bunch of different things, right? So in this case, sorry, I think I hit the wrong one here. Right. So it will give you some descriptive analysis, which is the count, mean, standard. It will give you some idea. But to be in depth, we can also find the smallest data point. We can find the medium of lower half of the data set, 25 percentile, the middle value of the data set, the 75th percentile, the maximum. And we use something called box plot or box and whiskers. It allows you to look at the data from outlier point of view, right? So what is the data that is not conforming to a standard? So let's look at this little plot here. And it looks like there are two items that are off. So when we do analysis, we can just take that out. This is not going to help us out. It's just a random, it's just a noise. We don't care about that. We can also do scatter plot. Again, a lot of your functions and differences of the scatter plot is going to be called here. Again, you can see differences, and it's scattered, right? So, life expectancy of China is somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here, and so forth. So it's scattered, right? So it is, this gives you an idea. Quickly tells you without sorting where the problem is. Afghanistan looks pretty problematic here. The other thing you can also do is sub-select information from here and create different data frames. So I'm iteratively saying DF1, just use Nigeria, DF2, use Italy from the main data set, and Ghana, and so forth. And what it's saying is like create a first plot that is everything, then create a second plot that is Italy, and third plot that is Ghana, and then join and concatenate means that join them and create and ensure that they are in the same plot. So Nigeria, Italy, Ghana, they should all appear in one plot. So what plot is this? Something like this. So now you have comparative, right? So you have some information about Nigeria's, and you can look at a lot of different information here. So when you concatenate, join and put this in one file. So, essentially you can name, like, you created different data frames, and we created something else. So if you hit df head in here, it should have only information about the three countries that we're talking about. And if you notice, it's using the same time frame, what it is in Nigeria and Ghana at the same time. So same thing here, right? So life expectancy 36, 65, and so forth. You can also find do a group by function and do some aggregate function like mean here. So use df group data, this one that we created, and group by continent, and tell me the mean of life expectancy. So let's see what it does. And oops, I think I need to print, but that's fine. So let's quickly look at it in a chart, right? So you can also do something like this, print df. So print is like, if you saved something, uh, and like see, you can see it is going to buy. So essentially what it's saying is Africa, America, Asia, Europe, just give me mean of each. So they will look at all the continent, do the mean, all the continent, America, Asia, and so on. So quickly it was able to do that, right? So you can also plot it, same value, and see what it shows. So look at this, Africa, America, Oceania. Looks like Oceania is place to be. You can do the same thing, box plot again here. So of the DF group, right? It's the whole data set, not just one country. And you can also do the DF plot, and you can do pie chart here as well, another way of doing things. And again, pie. So a lot of times when you're doing functions, this is where you have to change. This is the title. This is a variable. Anytime it is in a quotation, you can put anything, whatever, right? Choose wisely, right? Um, the other thing now you can do is you try it out yourself, the advertising data, see what kind of descriptive analysis that you can do. I'm going to import advertising that is under your here. And maybe let's do box plot here. Looks like there are 4 variables and there's going to be certain things. And let's just do for sales and do bins, just one particular variable. And looks like this. So for advertising dollar, try to replicate all of the things that you do. Use some functions that are going to do line graph. Use some functions, scatter plot. Use this function that is pretty awesome, which is the group by function, where you'll able to. So you could also do max here, right? And it'll tell you the max life expectancy. So this function will define a lot of different things. All right, enjoy. Try figuring this thing out, and on to week 4.